So after sort of waiting, we finally got notification that the FX2, which the rumors are sort of already leaked out, is here. And it's definitely split a lot of people. A lot of people are just looking at it as sort of an interesting thing with the EVF, and sort of like going back to what a lot of people wanted, which is sort of like a video oriented but still hybrid, whereas the FX30 and FX3 felt more like just fully dedicated video cameras. Other people just feel like this is a rehashing of the A7 IV and the A7 II. So with a couple improvements, there's things that are definitely more oriented for the cinema side of things. And for me personally, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I personally just feel like this announcement is, I feel like this is a little bit late to the party, if I'm just being honest with it, because the FX2, I think a year ago would have been a dope camera. Maybe more likely 2 years ago, but at the very least a year ago, this would have been, I think, a dope camera. But it's using technology that has been out for quite a while. First of all, a lot of people were anticipating an upgrade for the A7 IV to the A7 V, but instead, at least right now, we're getting a rehash. So a lot of people are just kind of like, this is kind of like a snooze fest. But I would love to know what you guys think. If you guys have your thoughts, leave them in the chat. Let me know what you guys think about the launch of the FX2. I'm like, it's kind of a boring, to me it's kind of a boring launch. I mean, a lot of the things that we see in the FX3 and the FX30, yes, they're in here, but it's a slower readout sensor. The latitude is solid, it's decent. I think the big thing is just the oversampling, high resolution in full frame, versus like something like the FX3, which really is just a 4K sensor, or slightly higher than 4K sensor. And then the big thing is the EVF. So if you are someone that is big on EVF, I get you. And I think this is why I'm kind of just like meh about this more than anything as well. And that is because I personally am not a fan of EVFs. I don't really care about EVFs that much. I'd rather have a screen or a monitor personally. So having this be a camera that really the big thing about it is the EVF. It does look like it has a nice looking EVF. It's just, it doesn't tingle my jimmies at all. I'm just being honest about that. It is meh. It is meh. And I honestly, I think what's bothering me, and this is just sort of, I guess, me, if you all feel the same way, please chime in. I don't know. Look, we got the YouTube videos that are going to do more in-depth explaining, but the actual announcement video that Sony released, this just feels to me like this. I don't know about y'all, but this just feels to me like somebody that was just some marketing team just sat in like a little office space with their coffee, and it's just like, oh yeah, this is great. It feels so. It doesn't feel very welcoming. Like, it just feels very corporate. It feels like this is the things that they wrote on their talking points and they go, which I know this is kind of what you want to do about a launch video, but it doesn't generate excitement. It just feels like is there. I guess soulless is the word that I guess I'm trying to look for. Like, again, it's very informative, but it's just not doing it for me. I know a lot of people have been, a lot of the YouTubers have been like really egging on Sony, or really coming down on Sony, especially since the S1 II has been announced. And you know what? I'm not going to knock them because guess what? I have been critical of Sony. If you guys have been following me for a while, I've been critical for Sony for years. I felt the same. I felt a lot of the things when the FX3 was first announced. And keep in mind, guys, I have an FX3. I'm actually filming on the FX3 right now. There's a lot of great features, but I didn't go with the FX3 initially because there was a lot of features that weren't there in the beginning that I just felt was mission to be calling it a cinema camera. But also, my situation was not the same situation that I am right now, where the FX3 does fit it better than said my Canon C70, which I traded it in for the FX3 and was able to basically just get it on a great discount. I got it for like $850. But yeah, to me, the Sony FX3, it was like, it was a snoo fest, and I know there's a lot of people waiting for the FX3 Mark II. Personally, I don't care for an FX3 Mark II. I'm perfectly satisfied. Again, I know I am like, I know I'm not everybody, but I know for me, the FX3 works for what I need it to work with. It does its job. It gets me paid. So for right now, it does the job. And it still works for my creativities and things like that. This new one just feels like, I don't know, they feel like there's like a quota they've got to meet for terms of new camera releases. And it's just like, hey, let's just do this. Instead of actually trying to figure out a way to give, I think, a camera that I think creatives are sort of striving for. That, look, I have my issues with Panasonic. I have my issues with Canon. I have my issues with Blackmagic. But all three of those companies, to me personally, are producing in terms of cameras, and Canon Canon in terms of lenses. But in terms of the cameras, those three companies all produce cameras that I feel they know that this is what their audience are looking for, and they're not putting out just for a quota. They're putting out because this is what they know, this is what their audience wants, which I'm super happy for those. And I think Sony's just sort of, it's been on the top. It's interesting. It's kind of the reverse. And it's kind of the reverse of what Canon was years ago before the mirrorless market took over, where Canon was just sort of sitting on its laurels. And then Sony just came by and just overtook. Sony's kind of bit now that, in my personal opinion, where they are just sitting on their laurels instead of actually, like, continue to do things in terms of cameras to push the market.